Every idol group has fans. Not every idol group has a pack. When XG debuted in March 2022 with Tippy Toes, they didn't look like the usual rookie story. A fully Japanese lineup. Hip-hop and R&B as their main language. English lyrics, global styling, and a company that kept calling what they did X-pop, instead of neatly slotting them into K-pop or J-pop. To a lot of netizens, it felt like someone had taken the rules of the idol game and quietly thrown them out. A few months later, the group gave their fanbase a name, ALPHAZ. It wasn't just a cute word. The members explained it came from Alpha, the leader of a wolf pack. In other words, fans weren't just supporters watching from the sidelines. They were the pack around XG. Everyone was supposed to be a leader, moving together, protecting together, howling together when it mattered. That idea wasn't just symbolic. The XG official fanclub ALPHAZ app and fan site turned it into something tangible. Exclusive blogs and videos, behind-the-scenes posts, and a community space where fans from Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, Europe, the Americas, pretty much everywhere, could chat in real time, with translation built in. Sometimes the members themselves would pop in. It felt less like a distant idol wall and more like a shared living room, full of inside jokes, fan cams, and late-night posts from people who called themselves Baby ALPHAZ. But outside that living room, the wider stan world was loud and ugly. Anyone who's been around K-pop long enough has seen what happens when fandoms go dark. Stalking, chasing cars, camping at hotels, spamming idols with invasive messages, and turning simple disagreements into massive witch hunts. Mass reporting someone's account can be a safety tool, or a way to silence them completely. In that world, the idea of a pack comes with a question. Are you a shield, or are you just another mob? The first time that question really hit ALPHAZ in the face wasn't about chart numbers or fan wars. It was about safety. As XG's profile grew, stories started spreading about fans chasing their van, blocking exits, even following them long after schedules were done. It all came to a head when XGALX posted a formal notice warning against that kind of behavior. The language was direct. Don't follow the members. Don't crowd their cars. If you see something dangerous, report it. If you cross the line, the company will go to law enforcement. On the Reddit XGALX community, fans reacted with a mix of horror and relief. Horror that it had gone that far. Relief that the company wasn't shrugging it off. One comment caught a lot of attention. We gotta protect XG and staff as ALPHAZ. The user wasn't telling people to physically fight stalkers or become vigilantes. They were saying, if you're at an event and see something off, report it. If you bump into the girls in public, be normal, say hi, and walk away. Don't be the reason they're scared. Under that post, ALPHAZ shared their own experiences. Running into members at airports and choosing not to take pictures. Seeing them in a shop and just whispering, "I love your music," before disappearing again. For a moment, the pack looked inward and decided what kind of fans they wanted to be. Not Saisiengs. Not parasites. Guardians. But protection in fandom rarely stays limited to physical safety. Once you learn how to move as a group, it's very tempting to use that power everywhere. As XG rolled out more music, ALPHAZ activity shifted into high gear. Streaming guides started to pop up across X, Instagram, and in the fan club. Some were fan-run accounts, others were boosted by official channels. Graphics laid out exactly how to stream the right way. Don't mute the video, don't loop too fast, spread your listening across platforms, save the songs to playlists. For releases like Gala, Howling, and the remix project XDM Unidentified Waves, you could find detailed goalposts, daily targets, and reminders written directly to ALPHAZ. The tone was half instruction manual, half battle cry. Let's go ALPHAZ, stream on repeat. Together we'll help XG shatter records. Clicking play stopped feeling like a casual action and started feeling like a small piece of a bigger strategy. To love the group was to learn the system. Side by side with these guides, a different kind of fan project appeared, XG Planet. It wasn't an official site, but it looked like one. Clean layout, long articles, bilingual posts. Their writers broke down XG's schedule, their big performances, their fashion concept, and eventually, their controversies. The tagline made its goal clear: a place for information, not rumor. In an online culture where misinformation travels faster than music, that mattered. All of this, streaming guides, info hubs, fan club features, built up one shared idea in the background. Controlling the story is part of protecting the group. And that belief would be tested sooner than ALPHAZ expected. The pressure spiked when CEO of ALPHAZ Masato Matsuura was quoted as saying, "XG is not K-pop," saying that the group merely used Korean producers to advance the success of the group. But coming from a group trained and promoted largely out of Korea, using Korean infrastructure and appearing on Korean music shows, it hit nerves. Korean netizens asked why he was distancing the group from K-pop while clearly using that ecosystem. Others wondered if it was just a clumsy way of saying, "We want to be global." The quote spread stripped of context, ricocheting through timelines as evidence that XG looked down on K-pop. In response, XG Planet published a long breakdown. They traced the timeline of comments from Simon and ALPHAZ's leadership, explaining what was said where, and how it tied into this beyond-genre branding the company kept pushing. The tone wasn't defensive screaming. It was careful, calm. The main message was, read the full context, check what was actually said, don't jump to conclusions based on a single phrase. For ALPHAZ, this was the perfect tool. When someone accused XG of hating K-pop, they could drop a link, point to the detailed explanation, and say, "Here, look, it's more complicated than that." It was the Guardian instinct, but through paragraphs instead of quote tweet wars. But the internet never gives you time to rest on one controversy. In early 2025, XG's merch store released an item that sent them into another firestorm, a cap with a long attached scarf that many people immediately read as a do-rag sold at fashion brand prices. For fans who understood the history of do-rags as a black cultural item, seeing a fully Asian group commercialized that look felt like a slap. Posts criticizing the item spread fast, with some black netizens and even self-identified ALPHAZ saying they were disappointed and wouldn't support that merch. Suddenly the question inside the fandom wasn't just, how do we defend XG? It was, should we? For some ALPHAZ, the answer was still yes. They argued the item was being misread, that it was closer to certain workwear designs, that people were projecting. Others, especially black fans, said, no, this is exactly the kind of thing we keep talking about, and asked the group and company to listen rather than double down. In the middle of that tension, the pack's teeth came out again, this time in a more organized, visible way. A dedicated Twitter account called Protect XG launched with a clear mission statement. It was there to report and protect XG from any and all malicious comments and posts. Its timeline filled with call-to-action posts aimed directly at ALPHAZ. Please report this account for hate and harassment. Please report this account for sexualizing Hinata and other female idols. Make sure to block them as well. Each tweet came with screenshots, usernames, and sometimes threads explaining the behavior. Mutuals across different fandoms joined in. You could see posts saying, whether you're ALPHAZ or my multi-friends, please help report this account, and the hashtag ProtectXG attached to threads calling out accounts that targeted XG but also other girl groups. Reporting stopped being a quiet, individual choice and became a public project. At the same time, the positive side of the pack didn't go away. Streaming threads didn't slow down. Fans continued to share watch guides, playlist links, and day one, here's how we hit our goals posts. On any given day, the timeline might be split between mass stream now and mass report now. From the outside, it could look simple. Haters say something. ALPHAZ report them. Problem solved. But inside the fandom, the situation felt more complicated. Because once you get used to moving as a group, it's easy for the definition of malicious to creep outward. An account using slurs or sexualizing minors. Most fans agree that's an obvious red line. But what about someone who says, I love XG, but the do-rag-like merch is a bad look, or I think Simon's wording was insensitive even if the intention wasn't? To some ALPHAZ, that still feels like an attack, especially when they've watched the group get dogpiled by antis in the past. They see those comments, feel their stomach drop, and reach for the same tool: report, block, move on. Not everyone thinks that's the right move. On Reddit xGalX community, a thread titled ALPHAZ are sometimes very annoying spells out the frustration. The poster describes parts of the fandom as overly defensive and says the constant "we're just trying to protect XG" rhetoric can give off possessive, almost controlling vibes. Other fans chime in agreeing that they feel nervous giving honest opinions, worried they'll be labeled fake fans or antis for saying anything less than perfect praise. So now you have a fandom that is actively asked by the company to report malicious content, that has its own dedicated Protect XG accounts, that knows how to rally under a hashtag, but is also quietly arguing with itself about when to bite and when to listen. The company's stance only adds more voltage to that debate. In August 2025, XGalX announced a sweeping legal response against malicious posts and defamation, including deepfakes and manipulative edits. They made it clear they were ready to pursue both civil and criminal cases, regardless of where the offender lived, and they set up multilingual report forms so fans could submit harmful content from any platform. Official social posts and fan communities repeatedly thanked ALPHAZ for helping protect XG by reporting these cases. For many ALPHAZ, this felt like confirmation. They'd been calling themselves guardians since that first stalking notice. Now the company itself was saying, "We need you on the front lines." But with that validation comes responsibility. Because once a fandom learns that hitting report can have real-world consequences, not just getting a tweet taken down, but potentially contributing to legal action, the stakes change. The difference between calling out someone genuinely abusive and dogpiling someone who's just criticizing a styling choice becomes more than a minor detail. In the middle of all this, you still have the everyday pack. ALPHAZ and fan club chats helping new fans figure out how to use the app. People posting, "I just became a paid member, what should I watch first?" and getting flooded with recommendations. Fans who run into the members in real life and quietly flex an ALPHAZ hand sign instead of a camera. Fans using their energy to translate interviews, explain references, and make video guides for baby ALPHAZ, who discovered XG through one song and stayed for the rest. Most of the time, protecting XG looks like that. Patient explanations, quiet reports, streaming parties, gentle reminders not to stalk. A subtle shaping of behavior and conversation that keeps the worst instincts of stan culture at arm's length. And yet, the teeth are always there in the background. They show up in the way certain names get passed around in group chats as "do not interact." They show up in the nervous jokes, "I hope I don't get dragged for saying this," before someone shares a spicy opinion about management or styling. They show up in threads where people admit they love XG but are scared of the fandom. So what is ALPHAZ, really? On one hand, they're a fandom that has stepped up in ways a lot of artists wish their fans would. They report stalkers instead of glamorizing them. They cooperate with a company that actually listens when safety is threatened. They push back when accounts sexualize idols or spread fake news. They organize around a shared promise that XG shouldn't have to scroll through hate every time they open their phones. On the other hand, they're also a mirror of everything messy about stan culture today. A group of people with real power to shape narratives, decide who gets heard, and decide whose accounts disappear. A fandom that sometimes struggles to tell the difference between criticism that comes from love and comments meant to tear the group down. A pack that can either circle around its wolves to keep them safe, or charge at anyone it doesn't recognize. In the end, there isn't a neat answer. ALPHAZ are not just cheerleaders, and they're not pure villains either. They're something more complicated: moderators, translators, hype team, security alarm, and sometimes, accidental gatekeepers. So the next time you see the hashtag #ProtectXG fly across your timeline, it's worth asking yourself a question. When you say you're protecting your faves, what exactly are you protecting them from? And who might you be pushing out in the process? In a fandom with teeth, the real test isn't how hard you can bite. It's whether you know when to soften your jaw, open the circle, and let honest conversation sit next to unconditional love.